Looking for stories that are fresh and new? Dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, cyberpunk, alternate history, and more. They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology. From 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.
Hey there. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcasts. There's an amazing show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. The News on the Flip Side, in the category of politics and news. News on the Flip Side is a much different news and political program which is not deemed as opinion news. Listen as Joe Montaldo brings to you just the facts from trusted sources which will allow you, the people, to make up your own minds on the various stories being reported on. Go to podcastawards.com to nominate News on the Flip Side in the category of politics and news. That's podcastawards.com, and please take a moment and do it now. All right, everybody, it's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcasts. There's an amazing show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. The Outer Realm in the category of Best Female Hosted Podcast. The Outer Realm is a very popular show hosted by Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano, which boasts millions of listeners each week who are well known for and have been complimented on their very laid-back, roundtable style of interviewing. Together, this dynamic duo brings you the best of the best with guests from around the world who are well-versed within their respective fields of ufology, paranormal, esoteric, and other areas of high strangeness, and more. So go to podcastawards.com to nominate The Outer Realm in the category Best Female Hosted Podcast. That's podcastawards.com, and please take a moment and do it now.
Good evening, everybody. And if you're just tuning in, thanks for your patience. Let me know if you're having any issues hearing me. I had to reboot the laptop, and I'll hop on my cell phone if I don't have to. I'd like not to, because I'm going to play some clips and stuff, and it's easier on the computer. I should introduce ourselves. If you're just tuning in, you are listening to UFO Paranormal Radio Network, otherwise known as United Public Radio Network, or as we affectionately love to call it, UPRN. And it's being broadcast to you out of the beautiful city of New Orleans. I am the host of your show. This is the Angel Rock. We're coming to you live from Canada, believe it or not. If you've never been here before, welcome. I usually have guests, but over the summer, I've kind of taken a little bit more laid back approach and trying to involve our audience here to answer your questions and talk about the strange, the unusual, sometimes spiritual. But usually my guests, when I have guests on, are whatever they're doing professionally or extracurricularly in their lifetime or life, whatever they're doing in the life, and books that they write. They're making a positive change for humanity. And we have an amazing guest next week we'll talk about a little later in the show. I am your host. I'm Lorilei Potvin, a Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and registered nurse. And I'm also a co-host of my newer show that I co-host with my very good friend, David Hansel, on Thursday nights here on UFO Paranormal Radio Network, and it's called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk about the strange, the unusual. We're both clairvoyant mediums, and we get a lot of unusual questions, regardless of what that topic may be, anything and everything under the paranormal realm. And that's what we do. We talk about it. The other thing that we do is we love to involve you as part of our audience. So if you've got questions, you've got comments, maybe you've always wondered about something, or you've always wanted to ask something of somebody that does clairvoyant work, connects with the other side, whatever that may be, that's what we do on that show. So I think I got a few more things to do, the housekeeping things with you. I think today is the last day to go to the People's Choice Podcast Awards. That's the advertisements that I played at the beginning of the show and the end of the show. Please go there to vote. We've got UFO Undercover, which is Joe Montaldo's show. He's also got Writers of the Future. And I think it's News on the Flip Side. And he is the owner of the network. He's had this wonderful network going for over 25 years. Please make sure if you see something that you like, that you share, like, and subscribe. Tell your friends and tell your family. Also, check out some of the other hosts and shows on the network. There's something for everybody here. And when we aren't streaming live, we stream pretty well throughout most of the day, 7 days a week and evening. Sorry, my mouse not working yet. The archive server is going, so there's shows up to from 25 years ago from previous hosts or syndicated shows, or even just previous shows from some of us that have been here around for a while. And so we're glad that you're here to join us. Now, if you want to join in the conversation, you'll see people that'll be making comments and such. I see Sandra Sharp, and I left you guys messages everywhere in the chat. I'm coming. My computer decided not to participate this evening. So where you can go to UFO Paranormal Radio, either on Facebook or YouTube. We're also streaming to you on, there's a bunch of our Facebook pages. So we've got News on the Flip Side. I believe we're coming to you from Canada's Most Haunted. I'm streaming in my paranormal group, Paranormal University, streaming to my profile, Lorilei Potvin, which is also open to the public so anybody can see it. You can also leave comments on my YouTube channel, which is Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. Lastly, we now have our own TV channel on Roku under UFO Paranormal Radio, I believe, and then it says and United Public. So if you want to find it, because I don't have a channel code for you, you just sign into your account on Roku. You're going to go to the channel store and look up exactly what I said, UFO space paranormal, or you can just put P. There'll be a list that'll come up. Hello, Nicole. We got Nicole Thomas Ryan here too. And once you find it, I think we're the third or fourth one down, and you're going to click on UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio. And that's our channel there. We've got a lot of the shows broadcasting. David and I right now have the thing at the foot of the bed broadcasting on Roku on Thursday night. So you can check it out there. I think I have remembered everything to tell you guys. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. I don't have a script. I just do it from memory. So yeah, with the summertime, I have a host of so many incredible guests coming up for all of you out there. And I thought, with the summer, I'm going to take it a little bit easier. I love doing shows on my own. My previous network years ago, when I had no clue what I was doing with podcasting and we weren't on video, I just got asked if I wanted my own show, and I was horrified and going to say no. And I heard Spirit, collectively, as I call her, guides and angels. I call it Spirit. Most of you that are in the chat that I can see will know what that is, but anybody listening may go, what do you mean Spirit? Anyways, I heard them say yes. So I did. I had about 2 days to get going with the show. And the first night of the show, I didn't know that the previous network years ago had a second studio they were opening where my show was going. And it was Monday through Friday, 2-hour show. I don't know how I ever thought of that. Hello, Mark Foster. Welcome. And so the first night, 10 minutes before I go live, all heck is breaking loose because my producers had told me, oh, don't worry about what you're going to talk about. We've got you. We're going to be there. We're going to discuss things with you. I was in such a panic. There were scheduling snafus, and you can't have dead air. Hi, Kelly Hopkins. At least if you can see, you can see the person, it makes a little bit more sense. But when you're listening, so I went on there. I don't remember what I was rambling about, but I think my show was only an hour on Mondays and Thursdays. I'll tell you, by the end of that hour, I was thanking the powers that be for the scheduling snafu. And thank goodness, a good friend of mine, some of you will know him in the chat, Jason Bland with Paranormal Soup. He has a great show here on YouTube and Facebook Sunday nights. I believe it's 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Got to check it out. Great group of people that support his show. He's got great guests, great content. I used to call into his show all the time. So thank God he called into my show and saved my butt. But thank goodness. So I don't know if I could do a show every night. Mind you, I guess I could, because like I said, I like doing shows like this. So I figured, I even pulled out the cards tonight. If we decide we might do a few readings, we can do that. I've been looking up weird and strange. Like, I have some crazy stuff. That's why I really wanted to reboot the laptop. I could have started a few minutes earlier on my phone, but it's not as easy to do a screen share with StreamYard as it is on the computer, because I was checking out all kinds of things. So if you've been a fan of the show for a while, you know I love to create things. Mark Foster, he says, yay, saving butts, LOL. Yeah, we got to thank our friends for that sort of thing, don't we? Oh, hi, Tamara. I've got Tamara Angle here. Yes, thank goodness for that, I'll tell you. Well, Jason was on, we were on the same network at that time, so maybe he heard me struggling. I don't know, but I was glad he called, and nonetheless, let me tell you. Anyways, I'm a creator and I love creating things, whether it's resin or this is my new spooky thing. I thought I'll share you. It's not even close to being done. Now, this looks like it's just a little wooden shelf, doesn't it? Right? This is, oh, there goes the drawer. I haven't glued it down yet. This is going to be a book, but it's going to be fashioned after almost like a Harry Potter haunted house library with all these little potions and all kinds of things like that. So I was thinking as I was creating last night, what are we going to talk about tonight? Should we talk about some strange things? Should we talk about spiritual things? Well, thank you, Kelly. It's not even close to being done. So I built the shelf and I built the boxes or the little drawers. So the little drawers actually have skull. Here, I got to pull it apart here. Probably stuck with the glue and paint last night. So they have little skull handles, and then the little drawers open. I even lined them, but everything will be glued in here, so it'll be a functionable notebook. So anyways, I spent most of the day today thinking, what are we going to talk about? What should we do? And that's where I was going with the creator thing. So I always talk about either the resin. That's what Mark says. Let's talk about everything. I'm open for comments. Yes, I hear you. And thank you, Kelly. She says, oh my gosh, that's so cute. You love it already. Thank you. And I always joke and say, I have a problem with oracle cards because I probably have about 80 decks. I don't need them to do readings. I usually use them, though, if I'm going to do like a quick one question reading or something. It just sort of complements whatever comes through with spirit. But I just find them so beautiful and love them. But I also have a problem with gnomes. I do. I like every season I have gnomes, like tons and tons and tons of gnomes. Hang on, I'm going to grab a drink here. And then I started thinking, I haven't had her on in a while. I've got to have her back on, Varla Ventura. Some of you may know her. She's incredible. She's amazing. She's written books on the strange, the unusual, fairies, werewolves, the paranormal, vampires, mermaids. And one night we were talking about fairies and elves and gnomes and things like that. And she hadn't seen any of these clips we were talking about on the show. And it made me think about her. Oh, so Nicole says, I just started collecting gnomes. Christine, Marguerite, Lorilei, oh my God, goodness, catching you live. Love you, Mama. Love you too, girl. I have not seen you in forever. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, good. Mark, you asked a good question. Let's start there. I'll finish the gnome story and then we'll answer that question. So Mark Foster, what is the difference between tarot and typical readings? Back to the gnomes quickly. Nicole, it's addicting. It's kind of like tattoos. Once you get one, you can't stop. Everybody I know, they're really, really apprehensive, myself included, years ago to get a tattoo. And the place I still go there, but they've since retired. And I think it's changed hands. But she used to joke and she used to say, you'll be back for another. She goes, that's because I'll spell it with us being on YouTube, HEROIN in the ink. They didn't. But anybody I know that starts getting them gets addicted. Well, it's the same thing with gnomes. So I started looking up. Oh, Mark Foster says, damn Pringles, I can't stop. Since 1997, Kelly, I know you well, Kelly, sorry. Kelly says, I've been on a huge collection spree with crystal beads and crystals. LOL, I can't help it. Yes, and Kelly makes these gorgeous crystal bracelets. I make jewelry too, so I always see the beautiful pieces when they come up on my feed on Facebook, Kelly. So check her out. Feel free to put the name in the chat, Kelly. She sells them and they're really reasonable and they're really beautiful. the pieces that she does. Yes, I make jewelry. I've been trying to get my resin store launched. If you can think of resin, anything resin, I can make it. I even make molds now if I find something I like. I just like, have you guys ever seen, actually my son and I haven't ever cracked it open. It's called, Magic Mixies with those cauldrons. They're a kid's toy. And you throw in all these spell pieces with a wand. And it's kind of interesting that they're kind of gearing with more witchy type stuff to children. Anyways, they've got really mini ones, really cute little characters. I just made a mold of one of them. I'm going to try it out. So gnomes, you guys would not believe the stuff I found on gnomes. Some of it so cheesy, including this guy getting all excited like he's filming this crazy nature video. We've caught the gnome out in the wild, and he's scanning around with his camera all over the place. It's a damn squirrel that must have got into some stuffing from a toy, and it looks like it's wearing a beard. That was really cheesy. So Kelly's, when she makes the bracelets, it's called Kelly's Rainbow Beadery. You said I think you meant to write beadery page. Okay. And Mark says, I'll send you mine. Okay. And Kelly says, I can't get one. I get 100 more. I can't stop. Yes. You would not believe, Kelly. Good thing we don't live in the same city, because the amount of beads, I have a room for crafts, plus in the basement, plus the whole kitchen and dining room is open concept that has been turned into, because I like doing sculpting. So I work with polymer clay. Like I said, if I can't find something, I make it, whether it's like molding it or sculpting it, or if you name it, I make it. Because believe it or not, that's when I connect to spirit, because, as I'm painting or doing whatever, yeah, I just love it, especially late at night when it's quiet and then there's nobody else around. Everybody's gone to bed. And that's when I really, really connect with spirit, get all kinds of messages. But I want to go back to Mark's question, because I think it's a good question. So he said, what's the difference between tarot and typical readings? Anybody in the chat, please feel free. I'm open to your comments and questions. Obviously, I like you guys to be part of the show. I think, you know what? I hate when I go to a live. Maybe it's a Leo in me, but I hate when I go to a live and it's not really busy. And, the host never looks at the chat. And it's not that I think I'm so important, you need to notice me. But the thing is, say they're talking about something really interesting, or they've got a great guest and you've got a question or you've got a comment or something. And I always feel like, why am I here? Especially when it's live. Like, I think, what, I'll go back and watch this, like, because we make time for things when it's live. So thank you. Any of you, though, we get a lot of people catching just the tail end or just popping in. But the shows are always archived, always. So this show will always be on YouTube, on my channel, on the UFO Paranormal channel. I think I even have it backed up on Odyssey and Rumble too. I just noticed this recently. So my shows are all backed up there. Sorry, I got itchy nose. They're on Facebook. And then the podcasts, all of them, every single show is carried wherever podcasts and talk radio are carried. So you can always hear shows. Some of our best places to find them, though, are on SoundCloud and Podbean. I have Podbean too, but I really like SoundCloud because I find it the easiest to find things and make playlists and whatever. And Tamara says, I'm still listening. That's glad to hear. Okay, so I'm going to read Nicole's comment, but I'm going to share with you what my thoughts are. The difference between tarot and oracle. And I got a tarot deck right here. I'll stand up and grab it. So Nicole says, I think tarot just confirms the message for the reader. Okay, see what you think about this. I'm still here. Okay, I'm right here. This isn't even close to my tarot collection. I don't do, hats don't fall over. I don't do tarot very often. And the reason why is, I could even grab, I got a Kawaii tarot there. There's a lot more cards usually than an oracle deck. So I am a certified angel card reader. Once upon a time ago, when Doreen Virtue was part of this, she's now denounced it, become very religious. So I said, I never want to do tarot cards. I only want to do oracle cards because they're positive. They're only positive messages. And I have yet to find a dark oracle deck out there. I'm sure there is one. There's one in particular I love. It's called the Rebel deck. and it is covered in cursey words and stuff, but it's very uplifting, very positive. Whereas tarot is much older, okay, centuries old. And with tarot, depending on your intention and how the reader has learned how to do tarot readings. And I believe that once upon a time ago, when it first came into fruition, the main deck people may know is the Rider-Waite deck, the original deck, where I think all tarot decks were based on. And it tells a story. So, for example, I had to get this the day it came out. If any of y'all know me, you know I love supernatural. I don't watch a lot of TV, but that was my guilty pleasure. So I had to get the deck. This deck I could probably read without the book. And the reason why is because I'm a fan of the show. Here's a book. Most decks come with a book. Okay, and I'll give you kind of meanings and whatever. But see how thick this deck is, okay? Because there's a major arcana and the minor arcana. I think major is 22 cards, minor, don't quote me on it, can't remember. I think it's 70 something cards in total. But depending on what spread you use and what your intention is and what kind of reader you are, like, for example, if you say some readers will set out a typical reading with a tarot deck, and if the card is reversed or upside down, it has the opposite meaning to what they interpreted if it's right side up. But there's the Celtic cross, there's past, present, future. So it really tells a story. Now, could you use oracle cards that way? Yeah, you can take a regular deck of cards it's called cartomancy, and use a regular deck of cards and use them like you might use a tarot deck. Now, I am of the mind, and what I always say, because I get a lot of people asking me questions, well, can I do this? Or can I do that? Or do you think I can do this? My rule of thumb is once you sort of have the basics of any kind of principle, whether it's readings, whether it's using any kind of tools, spiritual tools, or even paranormal type tools, anything like that, you've been taught how to use it properly. You know the reasons why you're doing it. But if you come up with something different versus, say, the way somebody has taught you, I always say if it's meant in love and it's meant in positive, either for yourself or the person you're using or doing it for, right? And for their highest good, if you can think of it, do it, right? As long as you're not going to cause any harm to yourself or anybody else, and you really are coming from a good place, I don't think there's any wrong answers. So, and plus, I find tarot is much more complicated than an oracle deck. Now, Sandra says, I learned on a deck of playing cards. Yeah, that's how people used to do it. Say, if you didn't have the rider, I didn't think we were going to talk tarot and oracle decks. My big thing, I have my angel board in the other room. I have all kinds of things like that. And I've got many, Doreen Virtue started it with Hay House, and then since she's now denounced it and left it, like James Von Prague and Kyle Gray, there's a whole bunch of their oracle card creators who have she was the first one because she used to do tarot, and then she was one of the first ones, I believe, that really came out with the oracle decks years ago. She has since sort of amalgamated oracle decks and tarot decks. So she's made, if I remember correctly, the tarot decks I have from her that have melded with the oracle type idea, that it's mainly very positive and very spiritually based. So I'm going to read some of your comments. You got a lot of comments and questions, but save for this, where I was going with tarot too. There's so many free resources out there if you want to learn how to do it. There's, oh God, I wish I could remember her name. Her name isn't Granny. She's not old, but I forget. It's something like that. I should look it up because it's going to drive me crazy. She has great free resources. There's tarot trainers. There's all kinds of things. Now, you can do that if you want, and there's a typical way to read. I have another friend that has known about tarot for a long time and was never really drawn to it until last summer. And she actually took each card into meditation and worked with spirit to see what the meaning was and what have you. So I also know, and this is kind of how I read tarot too, I don't necessarily so much go by, I just realized also I even have a drag deck because my eldest son does part-time drag. I have a drag deck that's a tarot deck. I kid you not. So you can go with the typical, there's 4 suits with the minor arcana. And then I believe there's, please quote me, don't quote me, you guys. And I know somebody will correct me and I appreciate that. Is that you, I think there's 10, is it 9? No, there might even be more, 9 under each of the 4 suits in the minor arcana. Okay. But people I know will read them intuitively. Let me see if I can find a card in here of somebody I know well in this deck. I think this is Garth, for example. I'll just pull a card from the Supernatural deck. So for me, if I was going to read this, I won't do a reading with the tarot deck, but if I was going to, I would probably, knowing the attributes that I do of this character from the show, and you can do a 1-card pull with tarot, but tarot is really a storyteller, is what I find, and it's very accurate depending on your reader. Versus an oracle card, you can just pull out an oracle card, and they're both very different. So let me go back to your comments. And Mark Foster says, you're so well versed. Well, thank you. I do mentoring and teaching, not with cards so much. Also my YouTube channel, it's not big. You'll see that yourself. I'm not one that promotes it. Like I said, I usually use it for a backup, but I do have some teaching on there. And I show you how I do a 1-card oracle, I think a 1-card oracle card reading. I show you what my angel card is and how I use it. I teach you, it's called How to Create a Love Shield rather than coming from a place of fear. If you're empathic, and you may have heard, you've got to shield your energy, you've got to shield it. You'll hear people say that being an empath is a curse. And I always look at it and embrace it. And I find it to be a superpower, not from an ego sense, but embracing it from more of a positive perspective. Versus I also have How to Ground and Grid, because as human beings, I think being on this planet, and we live in a duality existence, there's night and day, hot and cold. I think that we have invisible energy centers through our body, and many, many more, which are called, some people call them chakras. I call them chakras, depending on what they are. And I think that when we're in perfect balance, is that we are perfectly connected to source, if you will. You want to call it the universe, whatever your belief system is, could be God, could be whatever you want it to be. Okay. The other is that we're perfectly grounded and connected. That's when we really are open to a lot of things. It's when life kind of goes really well. We're really super connected to spirit. We're in really good health, because I think that that's how we're meant to be. I want to find this person that I told you about. Let me find her, because I really want to tell you guys about this resource with her. Let me look her up. Hopefully I still have her in here. Biddy. Yeah, I knew it was old lady something. So I'm so sorry. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. It's called Biddy, B-I-D as in dog, D as in dog, Y, tarot. If you guys Google her and look her up, she has so many free resources, and she sends you, just say, 1 card from 1 suit and gets into it and how to read it. She teaches you kind of more how to read intuitively rather than trying to sit there and memorize everything too. So look it up. And if you're stuck, feel free to drop me a message, because I'm the queen of free. I'm not cheap, I always say, and I think that everybody, yes, works for a living and deserves. Money is the energy source and how we live and work here. But I think that if you can find a free resource out there without taking from anybody, why not make use of it? So there's a lot of free tarot resources that I have. And there's a lot of free apps. And sometimes you got to try a couple different things to see what works best for yourself. But I want to go back here. We got some great comments. Let me go back. Okay. Let me see. Mark says, you're fine, buddy. We're really going back far. And Tamara, she's still listening. So Mark Foster says, I can highlight that my computer is being laggy with the screen. So he says, being a guy that had 2 years on the live broadcast, it is best unscripted. What throws us off makes you better. That's true. That's true. Now, Nicole says, I like oracle cards better than tarot. And so do I, Nicole. I do. Can I read tarot? Yes. But I'm pretty clairaudient, meaning I can really hear spirit very well. And so I can usually check in with spirit and get an answer. But where I use, and I love this angel board, I will strongly encourage you guys to go to, I did comment at the top, so it's easy to find my link here. on YouTube, but it's Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. If you go into, because YouTube changed up the tabs, so it'll be under video, scroll towards the bottom. And I have a few teaching things. I teach you how to feel color and what color feels like and what energy feels like, why gratitude is so important. And I actually use a song from one of my favorite bands, believe it or not. It's Hailstone, and it's when she had a hit back a while ago called I Am the Fire. And I go through the lyrics and I talk about why it's so important to connect with, sort of what raises your vibration. And usually music will, depending on what you're listening to, but a lot of us don't always pay attention to the lyrics, and I never used to either. What else? Oh, I've got a guided meditation. It's either in the Love Shield, but I have a feeling it's in the Grounding and Gritting video that I have. So I walk you through how to create your own sort of safe space, meditative space. And the reason why I did it that way is so that hopefully, because really meditation is your workspace. And especially if you're going to be in the light worker field, but CEOs do it. Professional athletes do it. It is so incredibly powerful. And a lot of people say, I can't meditate. But I think, and I was one of these, thinking years ago that meditation meant basically you're sitting atop in the lotus position, the top of a mountain, and holding the position and trying to meditate for 2 hours. And no, that's not what it is at all. There's many different ways to try meditation. And when we learn how to quiet our mind, you can get answers. You can get answers from your guides, your angels. Your body will talk to you and give you answers, believe it or not. I got off track here. Let me keep getting into the comments. See, I get very passionate about this, and I love to talk about these type of things. So I'm not sure who Facebook user is. If you want to let us know, please let us know. Or you can go to streamyard.com/Facebook and give them permission to use your name and your picture. Or if you want to stay anonymous, that's okay too. They said, loving the purple hair. Thank you. Kelly says the same thing. I prefer Oracle over Tarot. And Mark Foster said, I asked for the viewers and I do get it. Well, that's awesome. So Mark has another question. He says, my question was more so those that use decks as opposed to, I got dog hair here, true readings without the tools. Yes, and that's what I do. I don't know if you were here yet, Mark, but I had said, do I need cards to do a reading? No. But it depends what you're doing and how you've been trained, because like I said, tarot is it's an art. And like I said, it's been around for centuries. And there's a lot of really good information you can get from somebody that's an incredible tarot reader. Like there's a real gift to it. And so where I'll use a deck, like this Kyle Gray, I've got 3 of his decks, love his decks, because I used to always say, the more specific you can be with spirit, the more specific spirit will be with you. Because you'll get people popping in if you're doing readings, and they'll say, what's the message spirit has for me? But since doing this with David, my co-host from Thursday nights, we usually go live on his TikTok, but we're going to be going to a couple of different platforms because not everybody's on TikTok. And a lot of people will ask specifically that. So sometimes what I will do, most of the times with something like that, because you have to have a connection point, I find, for myself, right? I don't know these people from a hole in the ground. I don't see them. So by shuffling a deck, and then I usually stop when I hear stop within the mind's eye. And depending what's on the card, and there's not a story on the card. Like I'll pull one of Kyle's cards and I'll show you. I don't know what one this is. Okay. So this is all I'm going to get. For example, it'll say Air Guardian, shift your perception. If somebody said to me, if you got a message from spirit for me, okay, I'm going to look at that and I'm going to feel into it with the intention that I'm going to connect to the person I'm giving the message to. And then once I see that, I start to connect with spirit, with their guides, with my guides, and then I will give them a message. But, and some of you will know, like Kelly will know this. I don't know if there's anybody else here. If Zach was here, he would know. But when I had more time, I used to go live and do free 1-question readings. I just haven't had the time to do it. But yeah, so if they ask me a question, there was somebody on here recently, I think it was Thursday night, and their name looked familiar, but I didn't know who they were. And they gave me the most beautiful compliment. And I don't say this from an ego perspective, but they told me, I think it was back in 2017, one of those nights when I did a free one question reading session. I guess the message that came through from spirit, and I always say it's not me, I'm just the male person. Spirit just comes through and I'm sort of the mouthpiece, that whatever I had said, they said it completely changed their life, and they sort of went on and on. And I really, really appreciate that kind of feedback, because it's kind of nice to know, hey, because we're not infallible. None of us are. I always tell people, if somebody tells you they're going to be 100% guaranteed efficiency, especially with something like this, run. Because I mean, we can be pretty accurate, but we make mistakes. We're human. So I hope that answered your question, Mark. So Sandra said you learned on a deck of playing cards. Exactly. And Sandra went live on the weekend. I popped in there. She gave some beautiful readings and answered some questions. She said she's going to be doing that more often. So that was so nice that she did that. I said, way to go. All it does is, if you feel like you want to do something like that and you don't make any mistake, you don't make any excuses for yourself, you just do it and hit live. That's all you got to do, right? Put the first foot forward, take the first step. And then it just opens up for you no matter what you start. So Nicole Thomas Ryan says, I used to read bubbles. That's interesting. I would like to know more about that, because I could see that, because there's a lot of colors and energy within a bubble. And I do mean that. I mean, there's people that read auras and colors and things like that, right? And our aura is our energy field around us. So Tamara then said, with tarot cards, you can read just the high arcana and you can choose to make your own interpretation. Yes, you can. Absolutely. And that kind of goes back, Tamara, like I had said earlier. When somebody asks me, for example, I know you're not asking, you're sharing, but say if somebody had asked that, sure, why not give it a try? If you're going in with the best intention and you're doing it for yourself or somebody else, why not? So when people, because we will get a lot of questions, because a lot of people, and you want to learn as best as possible, sort of how I said earlier, you kind of want to know what the procedure sort of is. But then once you feel comfortable with it, or you get an idea about something, try it out, see what happens. So Mark says, how about me? I'm not quite sure what you said. Like, do you mean about a reading? I know I'm a little behind in comments here. And you said, I'm focusing my energy your way. I didn't see it till now, Mark, so I'll have to see. You said shielded and happy with the core light. And Kelly said, I think it's actually a blessing to have empath abilities. It has lessons to teach you along your spiritual journey if a person is willing to listen. True. Now, I have a little bit different perspective about being an empath. My theory, and again, I don't have all the answers. I'm just sharing with you either what I received from spirit or from my own personal experiences. I think that the majority of human beings are empathic. And then regardless of what we do, sort of kind of what you said though, Kelly, like you said, if you're willing to listen, some people hang on to it from birth. They do. A lot of us, I think, as life starts to go on and depending how we grow up, and I'm not pointing a finger at parents, I think our parents try to do the best that they can. But you may be told, well, there's no such thing as imaginary friends. There's no such thing as this. Like, it's, you're getting too old for that, or, life happens and we start to get busy. But even people that wouldn't identify themselves as an empath, you can't tell me that there's people, some people won't pick it up, but there's a lot of people who wouldn't identify as being empathic, but they'll walk into a room, say, where there's been a really big argument or a fight or something, and they may not know what that is, and they may not know what they're feeling, but they will feel it. Or the same reason why I think that people, sometimes when you're an empath, I'm one of these types where I will be out and people will come up to me and start talking to me and end up telling me basically their whole life story. And then they'll stop and they'll say, I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I don't know you from a hole in the ground. People don't really know what that is. But I think as human beings, we are empathic. I think that we can sense energy. We may not know why we're sensing what we're sensing or what we're picking up. And it's just a theory, right? And I think there's varying degrees of the sensitivity depending on, or like you happen to say, Kelly, if you're willing to listen or to explore it a little bit further and dig a little bit deeper, because I really do think that. So Nicole said, as a pre-K teacher, being an empath is very helpful. Oh, darn, it sure is. It sure is. You've got babies there, and I don't say that with disrespect, but all these little ones, and they're leaving the home for the first time and getting into school and a teacher. And yep, I could see that definitely as a real gift. So Jennifer says, Biddy Tarot is awesome. I think that's what you meant to say. Isn't she awesome, Jennifer? And like I say, she sends an email. I think it's almost every day or every second day. I think you might even be able to choose the frequency of the emails. But she's a great teacher. She does a lot of free master classes and things out there. Oh, Jennifer, you just wrote Biddy Tarot. And then Sandra says, I'll try and highlight this. So Sandra says, I think folks tell inexperienced empaths to shield rather than embrace the energies of others, might be because they're typically not grounded or centered and get easily overwhelmed by the energies of others. I agree. And that's why I also call, I don't, because people, I find with the word shield, and depending on what kind of mentor you work with, that's why I always encourage people to work with a variety of mentors. I have worked with some that really made it sound quite scary, like, or there's people that are really, really sensitive. My eldest is one of them, to go into a shopping mall or whatever. And you just get completely overwhelmed energetically. And I have to agree with you, Sandra, that number one is being grounded. Number two, the reason why I call it a love shield, and I tell people it takes longer to explain than it does to do, because I kind of walk you through the process as you're watching the video, so you don't turn it off and go, what did she say in like step 8 or whatever, right? You kind of know. And I always am a firm believer of teaching people the right way to do something that I believe, or have worked with a bunch of people. And I don't have all the answers, but I think we're all different. So we have to evolve things and change them so they work for ourselves. So it's very hard for some people to understand what feeling grounded is when, say, we're a newly awakened empath or become aware of all this energy, and we're trying to manage it. We're trying to understand what grounding is and what grounding feels like. And then maybe we're starting to really open up a lot of our gifts. It can be very overwhelming. So what I usually do, like I said, is teach people, all of us know what love feels like. Whether we've ever been in love, maybe there's a pet that we love, maybe there's something we love, an activity, or we've all have experienced love. And to go to that feeling, I think it's one of the most powerful emotions that any of us could ever feel. And I walk you through how to either sense, feel, or imagine, and sending that love throughout your body and what have you. But I think you can't have one without the other. I have to agree with you about that, Sandra, that definitely have to be grounded. And I want to read that comment again, the way you worded it. You think folks tell inexperienced empaths to shield rather than embrace the energies of others. Because that's why I wanted to go back, because I think that that's what the problem is, because people that get very overwhelmed energetically with some of the things I named, that by having some of these tools, right? And then you can sort of evolve once we know what something feels like, because when it just feels just like it's coming at you from all different senses, right? It's hard to kind of embrace and feel it all. So I think, like I say, that's why I call it a superpower, being an empath versus a curse, because a lot of people will call it that. And then not coming from a fear-based perspective, but being open to the fact that this is manageable. And when you find the right tools that work for you, it's really such a gift. I hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to read some more comments here. So Sandra says, I'm liking actually, I almost grabbed those cards if I'm reading that. You said, oh, sorry. I thought you put butterfly. I don't know why I saw butterfly. Sandra says, I'm liking the oracle cards better as well. I can do a full spread, but it's a lot of work putting the narrative together. Yeah, it is. It is. Like, if you're really into putting a story together, and like I said, can you do a 12-month spread with an oracle deck? Absolutely, because you could do that with a tarot deck. You could do any of the things you could do with a tarot deck with an oracle deck. It's just, I think, what we're familiar with and how we've been taught kind of to use them. So myself, I just find it a lot easier. Usually an oracle deck has 44 cards. Some of them will have 52. Let me read how many this one has, because I think this is a typical supernatural deck. Yeah, 78. I knew it was 76 or 77 or 78. So a typical tarot deck will have 78 cards. And so it's really thick to hang on to shuffle and do whatever, say if you're going to be using it live. I know people that do, though. I think it's what you're comfortable with and what you feel. Or like you had asked Mark, do you need these tools? I don't need the tools, but I will tell you, it's kind of cool when you're giving somebody a message live from spirit, and then you're shuffling the cards and people can see you shuffling, and you pull the card out, and invariably the card always either contains almost the same message or it supports the message that comes through from spirit. The other thing I have found, and I'd love to hear from all of you in the audience that do readings, is I find that spirit has a theme too, because spirit will know who's either going to hear these messages live or they may hear it on the replay. And it'll seem like it'll be a whole theme that'll come through. Like say, maybe there's a lot of people that are having problems with finances. Just for an example's sake, or it could be broken hearts, it could be whatever. And the advice that comes through from spirit, and it doesn't matter what deck you use or how the question's worded, it could be completely different. I find there's usually a theme that comes through. I don't know if the rest of y'all find that or not. So Sandra said, whereas oracle cards allow you to do a quick read or answer. Yes, they do. And again, I've seen people that are very adept. They could pull a tarot card, but again, I think a tarot deck is more designed to tell more of a story and connect things over a period of time, versus an oracle deck. I can just pull a card. Seraphine Hurley, girl, are you still around here? Seraphine is my co-host on here. I might even get that girl to come on here with me and join me. So thank you, Seraphine. Her and I, when she was with us on our network, we used to do a show on Tuesday night. So she would have known what I was talking about. And I was going to say it and I didn't, and I should have listened to Spirit. When I told you there was a scheduling snafu and I was about to mention it, Seraphine and I were on this previous network together. And the scheduling snafu was with Seraphine. Her show was right after mine. It ran into my show and we had 15 seconds to meet. That's it. And she said, hey, you want to join me for my show afterwards? And right from that day, we always worked together on Mondays and Thursdays. She always would do the Angel Rock with me. And then I would do, I'm trying to think, God, it was Infinite Inquisition, I think we did. Seraphine had two shows and super cool names. And we moved that name over here on Tuesday nights. So thank you, Kelly, for telling me. So Seraphine, if you're still hanging out, let me know. Hang on, I gotta go down here. Holy cow, I'm way behind. And Kelly says, yes, I remember you doing those readings. Yes. So Zach is here. Zach, I was just talking about you. Were your ears burning? Because Zach says, nobody panic. I've arrived. Hi, Howie. You guys, I'm way behind in the comments here. Hi, Diane Defoe. Hello, my friend. It's been a long time. I'm so glad you all are here. So let's go see what Howie's got to say. And I got to give you all a shout out for Howie. Howie owns the Riff Network. He's got great programs, great shows on there. He's had David and I on his show, The Orion Effect. We had a great conversation. It was Hidden Doorways. You called that series, Howie? I can't remember. He'll remind us. So Howie says, agreed. Some understand the ability and others do not. And those who do not understand, it causes chaos in their life because they just don't understand. I agree. I think we have to be open to, and that's why and I do mentoring. Like I will work with people and mentor and do whatever. But I always tell people, please, if you're open to it, work with different mentors. Because I find when we work with just one person, that's all we know. But when we work with a variety of different people, you end up, I think, getting a more well-rounded, if you will, education. And you can take bits and pieces that resonate with you, and then it becomes who you are and what you want to do with your practices of how you work with the paranormal or spiritual realm. Okay, let me keep going here. as far as the empath ability, Howie says, oh, hi, Kevin. So we got Z Sun Dragon here. I'm way behind, guys. He says, hey, reading cards. Images can be seen in water, clouds, a cup of coffee. Absolutely. There's tea reading. I mean, you can go back through history. There's bones, people tossing bones, and then you get into runes. And then I make runes with resin. Pendulums. There's so many different ways that people have interpreted messages from the other side. So there's cloud reading. Yes, there's water reading. If Debbie was here, she might be. If I go down the comments, I know she would do a lot of connection paranormally with water and water readings. And like Kevin says, messages can come in so many ways. If you're willing to listen, we can all be empaths too. Absolutely. So we got lots of highs, everybody. And Kevin Z Sun Dragon says, if I highlight this, I got to read it off the screen over here. Yes, of course, you must protect yourself, bubble and ground too. All comes with experience. Yes, I agree. Yes. And I think I'm positive it might have been on Michelle DeRoche. I was on her show on Wednesday. Her and Amelia Pisano have their show, The Outer Realm, here on the network on Wednesdays and Thursday nights. It might have been on there. It might have been Thursday with David. But what people forget too, right? The Ouija board has such a negative energetic belief, I'll say, with it, right? Whereas the Bible collectively around the world has a very positive, energetic collective. Now, they both aren't the same type of tools, but where I'm going with this is a Ouija board is just a tool. And I'm going to give you an analogy I use a lot. Say we've got John, and John has heard that chainsaw is a great thing to cut down a chain link fence. So somehow, some way, he gets to his hardware store, gets in there, grabs a chainsaw, brings it home, doesn't read the instructions, and by some magical fluke, he gets it working. So then he heads over to the chain link fence, puts the blade down, and thinks he's just going to slice it like butter, and is shocked as all heck get out that it kicks back the chainsaw and cuts his arm off. Now, is the chainsaw evil? No, it's a tool. It's the same thing as a Ouija board. It's a tool, just as it is as a pendulum or anything else that will encourage communication with the other side that you do need. And I don't think you have to come from a place of fear, but I do believe that we have to be responsible and have somebody show us how to open a session and close a session, and also how to protect your energy. And I think it's very important. Like when I work with people doing crystal Reiki or readings or whatever, yes, when I start a session and when I end it, there's an energetic thing that I do with it. And I think it's important. Again, you may find some that maybe don't believe in it. I guess it all depends on your belief systems, how you've been taught, and if it resonates with you or not. Okay, so Z Sun Dragon or Kevin says, love using cards to confirm. Okay, that's what I just like what you just said. I'm going to highlight that because you just said what I've been trying to say. Love using cards to confirm messages or just to read with them. That's where I was going with an oracle deck. Like I said, especially like when Dave and we try and do it Wednesday nights on his TikTok. And like I said, we're going to try Instagram. And I just seen a new option with YouTube to go live with someone. The card is a nice way to confirm something that we picked up or heard or felt or sensed from spirit when we're doing a reading. And the card invariably, almost 99% of the time, usually confirms it. So thank you for that, Kevin. So Tamara said, hang on, are you going to highlight for me, computer? You're being silly tonight. So Tamara says, messages are given, not always what the person is focused on sometimes, but it's a helpful shift for the person. And I agree. But sometimes people don't want to hear that message. And I can tell you, I've run into it, not a lot, but sometimes I do, especially in private readings. And, or exactly, I actually, even in one question readings, like if I've just done it off the cuff and somebody will ask a question and you get a card, say if you pull a card, and because if I'm stuck and I'm not really connecting, we're not always going to connect 100% with every person too that you're going to do a reading for. So sometimes I find a card can be a nice bridge. But, say if I'm going to pull a card and it's like, this has nothing to do with the question that they just asked. And then I'll hear from spirit just what you said, Tamara. We don't always necessarily get the answer we're looking for, but we always are given with love the message that we might need to hear, right? Because Spirit is never going to say to you, you have to hear this, because that's not how Spirit works. They respect our free will, right? Okay, let's keep going down here. So Howie says, thank you, The Forbidden Doorway. That was the show, the little series that Howie started with us over on his network, the Rift Network, and his show, The Orion Effect, that David and I did. So Kelly says, I would love confirmation from Spirit if possible. I've been through a major spiritual change in the past 8.5 months. And 2 days ago, I received a message in my sleep that I had completed a part of my journey. And I was told that I am now transitioning over to the next phase of my journey. I believe this had likely happened, but love more insight from Spirit on this if it is possible. Oh boy, Spirit was coming through the whole novel. Okay. So I've been giving this message a lot lately from Spirit collectively. So even if you're not hearing this on the live, and I always tell people that's where we're going with this, and we're going to do readings, I'm perfectly open to it. I did pull cards out tonight. So I always say to people, if say I didn't directly say so-and-so, yep, this reading's for you, but you happen to be listening to it and you go, oh my gosh, that message sounds just like it was meant for me. Guess what? It is. Like I said a few minutes ago, Spirit knows who's going to be hearing the messages, whether they're live or whether it's on a replay. So I always, with things like this, Kelly, and this is with the message that I've been repeating lately from Spirit, and this is meant for everybody out there, if it resonates with you, and it's this: trust what you are receiving, trust what you are getting. You are so loved. And I mean, I can tell you, yes, Kelly, absolutely believe it wholeheartedly, but I think you know this. But just trust that you are, again, Spirit's repeating, so loved and taken care of. And where Spirit's going with this, what I'm hearing is to celebrate, because Spirit has told you this. The one thing I'm hearing is to start looking for the signs. Start looking for the signs around you, the symbols around you, to follow your heart, to not get too overwhelmed, because they're showing me almost like a candy store. And there's all these little things where you want to go, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Trust that you've been given this message. Be open to the signs. Ask Spirit to give you a sign in what direction maybe that would best serve your path in this time and moment, rather than, because it's so exciting, right? When we hear clear messages like you've just shared with us, and thank you for that. And to be open to it, like, where do I go? What do I do? Where am I going next? They're telling you just stop, breathe, and to pay attention to the signs around you. So I will say absolutely yes. But that was where I was going with trust that you're so loved, okay? And you are taken care of, and each one of us is, because you don't need me to tell you that what you received is a yes. You know it deep down in your core, and trust yourself with that. So I hope that helps you, honey. I'm going to go through here and keep getting caught up. You guys are asking great questions and comments. This is a lot of fun. I hope you're enjoying yourself, because I am. So Tamara says, when learning to scry, you can start with a candle. Yes. And a mirror. Like I said, there's so many different communication techniques and ways to connect to the other side. And you just made me think of something when I was talking about the water, and Debbie Schmoley, if she happens to be here. Sometimes she's here when she's cooking. That's the word I wanted to use. So thank you, Tamara. Water scrying. So you can see all kinds of things in water. Paranormally, if you're investigating and say that there's a lot of spirit around, or you can communicate that way. We could do a whole month of shows and barely scratch the surface on this. Howie says, but here we go. But are they not the same tool? Both are divination in a way they are. Are you talking about, sorry, Howie, I'm behind here. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I'm going to say yes, because I agree with you, whatever you're referring to, because there's so many different ways to communicate with the other side. So Nicole says, I think that as a collective, humanity, hang on, I'll highlight that for you. Humanity is going through a spiritual change, and we are all going into a new phase. And yes, I believe that we are. and it depends on who you're listening to and what message resonates with you. But what I want to remind people, and I think a part of my purpose on this planet is to remind us of who we are, right? All these things that we've always been told that we can't do as human beings, or they're not possible, we are capable of that, and so much more. We switch timelines and dimensions, and we don't even know that we do it. There's so many things we can do. And do I think we're having an up leveling? I do. Haven't talked about this in a while, but there's a podcast I really enjoy called the Next Level Soul podcast. And I'm particularly really intrigued by the channelers that he has on there. And there was a message that really resonated with me. Her first name is Belinda. I'm trying to remember what her last name is. She connects with the 12 archangels, and they're just a collective. They don't give separate names. But I think it was her that had said this. And what she said is, over on the other side, right? It's nothing but love. I've studied near-death experiences professionally and personally for over 40 years. I've said that many times, and on the show I do with Dave, I believe I've had a near-death experience as a toddler. Over on the other side, there aren't words for the colors. Howie can back me up on this. I know he can. Sandra, I'm not sure. I think you might have had an NDE too. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. But there aren't words for the colors and the sounds and the sights that we see. The word love doesn't even begin to scratch the surface for the incredible love we feel on the other side. And I think it was this Belinda that channeled this. And what I love what she said is, so how do you know that there could be anything else other than love, right? So one of the reasons why and these were her words, that we have chosen to incarnate into these many different lifetimes and experiences, it's almost in a way of coming here not only to experience the depth of, emotions and life experiences, but also what it feels like to be separate, right? So when we go back home, as I call it, when we leave this particular lifetime, we really do know what the difference is and how much more even to appreciate it and know what that love is. Do you know what I'm saying? If we always knew what love is, but we never experienced anything else. And I know that sounds like I'm humanizing it, but stick with me with this. But she said, from her perspective, while she was in the channeling state, that we have agreed as a collective that time is over, that we're now starting to come together. We now want to experience that collectiveness, that togetherness, if you will, almost like a heaven on earth, what we're experiencing over across the veil, or as I call it, back home. There's no longer a need for that separateness anymore. So I have to agree with you that something's shifting, something's changing. And I think that we're headed in a really positive direction. May not be, we've got a few things to move out of the way yet, but I think we're moving in a good way for a much different and improved, and if you will, heaven on earth future. And I'm not saying everything's going to be perfect, but I think that people will learn to appreciate, by remembering who we are and coming from a place of love, that all the petty little things that we all go through in life, and I'm not saying that with disrespect, that those things will no longer hold the energy or the need for whatever purpose that people do these things, that we'll start realizing we are stronger together, and so on and so forth. So Sandra says, I keep getting 555 and 553 angel numbers, and spiritual upgrade is what she says. So any of you, maybe if you haven't experienced numerology or angel numbers, Joanna Scribes has a great website out there with the meaning of different angel numbers. Then you can get into numerology and gematria, and like I said, there's and then Fibonacci sequences. I mean, there's so many different things out there. There's so much to learn and to look into, and you grow and evolve, and as you have more experiences, it might still resonate with you or it might not. That's the beauty in it, right? There's so much to learn. And Nicole said that answer to Kelly was 100% for me too. I'm so glad, Nicole. And that's why I kept saying, especially about the love that I had said about Kelly, that's for everybody out there. Definitely. If you're feeling it, you don't need me to tell you or anybody else. right? We're so used to, and I don't say this with judgment or disrespect, but from the beginning of life on this planet, right? We're born and we have parents that guide us, that tell us what to do. Then we go to school and we have a teacher and we have, a principal and what have you. And then regardless of whether you go right out of school to work or to, say, college or university, whatever that may be, right? Then you have professors and what have you. But then we start working, and we always have somebody to tell us what to do. And it's that stopping, right? We've never been able to really have that opportunity unless you've lived on your own or recognize that and you're not around any other human beings and civilizations or anything, and you really do have to trust yourself. We've always had someone tell us what to do or to ask if it's okay. And instead of going inwards and recognizing that, hey, I've got this. And again, even if we say make the wrong choice or a mistake, that's how we learn and that's how we grow. If you've got everything 100% all the time, where are you going to go from there, right? That's where we learn. And that's how I think those are the biggest lessons when we go through some of the difficult things in life. So Kelly said, thank you for the feedback too. Kelly said, hang on, I'll highlight. She goes, that's exactly how I feel. I'm so excited about it. I feel like a kid in a candy store. Yeah, Kelly, that's what your energy was feeling like. Like that's what Spirit was giving me. Like, ooh, what's this? I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it was like, nope, just ask for a sign and there's no rush. You'll, between you and Spirit, you'll know exactly what choice to make and where to go and to give it a little bit of a try. Is there anybody else out there that has a question? Or you guys, oh wait, I still got some comments. Never mind. Howie said what we were talking about Ouija. Yeah, we were on your show. We definitely were. And then Sandra said how he was speaking of oracle cards versus tarot. Thank you, Sandra. And Sandra, yes, I thought you had an NDE as well. Like I said, there's a few of you that have. I don't know if that's Seraphine or not. I see Facebook user. So if you want to let us know your name, great. Or you can go to streamyard.com/Facebook and give them permission to use your name and your picture. It's just a yes, or you can stay anonymous too. I picked out all kinds of weird and strange things to look at, y'all. I should pull up this YouTube video. I got a lot from TikTok because YouTube doesn't like when we play stuff. Give me a sec though, because I was just watching this because I was looking for videos of gnomes caught on camera. Some of them were super crazy. This one wasn't particularly about gnomes because I was looking to see, has anybody actually caught a really good, clear image of a dogman? And I've yet to really see one. I got to go in my history here. Hang on. So I know you guys can still see me, but I'm not looking at the screen. So give me a sec. No, I don't want YouTube. Okay. I got to stop this as soon as it starts playing. No, don't do that. Good. Okay. I'm going to give you guys the link to this. It's called The Most Disturbing Trail Cam Footage. Let me see. I think I can post it on here. Give me one sec because I'm going to post. I want you all to check it out if you want. This was pretty good. It had some strange. Hang on, guys. Sorry. No, I don't want you playing. Stop. There we go. Sorry, guys. I want to post it. Oh, Scott Carpenter has photos of Dogman. It's Christina Lantis. Hi, Christina. Welcome. You just popped in after dinner. Love y'all. Hope all is well. All is well. We're glad you're here. We were doing some readings with Spirit, and now we're getting into a bit of spooky ooky here, but I'm going to post a link for you. Give me one sec. It's hard for me to multitask here while I'm trying to think and run this and everything else. But I want to go. Now, those of you on Facebook may not see this. So where the link is on, I'll try and post it on my Facebook profile, but it's called Classified Captures, and it's called Most Disturbing Trail Cam Footage Caught by Accident. This had some crazy stuff, especially towards the back. end. So let me see. We want to go to me over here. Don't play. Oh, good. We won't hear me. So hang on. Okay, so it's on YouTube. It's going to come up. And then I will post it. If that's okay, I'll post it on Facebook, on my Facebook profile. And then y'all can see this. Towards the end is when it got a lot better. But have you guys ever seen the footage of, I think that's the one that had the ferry caught in England? And then there was a really clear camera, like a trail cam of Bigfoot, but this one's really big. Like all you capture is from about probably mid-torso, if you will. Okay, so I posted it over here. Janie, I just saw you. I haven't seen your comments here, so welcome. Jane's in the chat. Now that I'm on YouTube, let me make sure I'm not missing anybody. So if you're out there and you're just lurking, that's okay. But if you want me to give you a shout out, please let me know. Okay, so it's over on Facebook here, and I posted it on YouTube. Now, I should be able to post it. It'll go on all the other Facebook profiles if I post it here too. You're going to see about 7 or 8 posts, but that's where we're streaming to. So all of you should be able to see this. I can certainly share it, but so Tamara, you were saying Scott Carpenter, is he on YouTube, or is there a website that you could post? Because I'd love to pull it up on screen and we can take a look at these things. Because I don't like to always play YouTube, because we're streaming to YouTube and then they get a little bit, even though it's fair use, they get a little bit picky about us streaming Facebook. Come on, you can send that anytime now. There, you're going to see a bunch of them. He's on YouTube as well, is he? Oh, crap. That's the only thing. Because I don't like posting on there. Let me see what I pulled down for you guys in videos on here. Because I'll see if there's something I want to put. Because I saved so much stuff today. Other thing I'm going to mention to you as well. I knew this, but for those of you maybe that are crystal collectors out there, or you study the phases of the moon or anything like that, we've got a particularly interesting period this month in August coming up. Besides, it's my birthday coming up in the middle of August, but we have 2 supermoons. So it says bringing 2 supermoons in a row, clearing 33 years of old negative karma, burning away your challenges. Bringing. August is around the corner and brings 2 full supermoons, August 1st and 31st. This is a rare occurrence of the 2nd and 3rd supermoon of 2023, burning away your blockages, with Venus bringing in retrograde. Oh, I hate retrograde. And you know what? I just try not to pay attention to it. But this is Venus. It's not Mercury. We're going to have Carmen Schott Turner on. She was supposed to be here, I think, last Monday. And we had a little bit of an emergency. So I just put on a replay last Monday. She'll be back she's coming on Monday, this coming Monday on the Angel Rock in a week. And she's going to be talking about her new book, Phoenixes and Angels. So we can ask her about these super moons and what that means energetically as well. So going back to this, with Venus bringing in retrograde, it means that cosmic energy is doing a major flip to upgrade our finances. Oh, wow, I could use that. And romantic love life. Challenges are burning away. And then it says August will positively shift 2023. Hey, I like that. That's awesome. Hi, Mickey. Welcome. I like that one. So you said he's written books too. Oh yeah, I was checking out the videos here. So much to look at. And like I said, if any of you have questions for Spirit too, we can certainly do more answers to questions as well. Okay, is this the one I saw? Oh, this one. Oh, I'd love to share this one. You guys, you know what? Let me send it to Messenger. I'd love to know your thoughts. Speaking of gnomes, okay? This lady was so sweet. You tell me, I don't know if we'll be able to see it big enough or not. So Sandra said, Venus retro just means that we all have self-work to do with regard to relationships of all kinds. Well, thank you for that. Oh, happy early birthday. Kelly said mine too. And Steve-O is coming up this week. So happy birthday, Steve-O. Kelly and Steve will do a lot with the paranormal. Oh, my phone's always slow when I share it this way because I'm going to go on Facebook. We can share this one for sure because I did download from TikTok. Just give me a minute. I gotta find myself on here, guys. When I got Dave on here, I can let Dave talk usually while I'm doing all this stuff. It's just little old me. So hang on. Come on, computer, don't be so slow. It's taken forever. I want to see what I do is I'll send it through Facebook. So hang on. Okay. Anytime now. No, we don't want that one. Okay, sorry guys, it's just loading. This is really interesting because this lady is claiming she caught a gnome in the tree, and it almost looks like a gnome shaped. I should take my glasses off. A gnome shaped, moss shaped kind of thing. Okay, let me share it. No, just pause. Okay, there. I get to screen share. No, we don't want that. We want over here. Okay. Present. What's going on with my, oh, that's why we got two browsers open. I was in a hurry to try and get this going for you guys. We're going to do a screen share. I want this one. I wonder if I could do entire screen. No, let's do window. Is window going to be bigger? No, let's see if entire screen will be bigger. My nose is itchy here. Sorry, guys. Allergy season. Let's see if I share it. My computer tonight, I swear to goodness. Facebook user, something about birthday. So just give me a minute here. We're just going to go back to the browser. This is the easiest way to do it. I'm sorry, but it is for me. Okay, there we go. Let's go back over here. I'm going to add it and then we'll play it. Now, it might be hard to see. I'll see if I can blow it up a little bit. Okay, let's see. I'll play it for you. It's a sound. See if you guys can see that.
Like hanging onto the branch.
Just give me a minute. I want to get the volume.
Oh my God, did it just move? It just moved its head. Look at me, didn't it? Oh my gosh. There's its face right there. Look at his face. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at that. Alright, I don't want to bother him or scare him. Look at that though. Holy cow, you guys. He's looking right at me. It's okay. It's okay, dude. I'm gonna let him go.
So I know it might have been hard to see. Sorry, it's going to play it again. I got to stop it here. Okay, come on, stop. Okay, we'll close that.
There he is.
There we go. Stop sharing. Stop. Okay, I'll get it off the screen here. Just give me a sec, guys. My computer, I'm telling you, I've scanned the heck out of it. It's not been behaving itself. Okay, there we are. So what y'all think of that? Like, I know it's kind of hard to see, but I think it's featured in this most disturbing trail cam, or if you look up gnomes caught on camera on YouTube. I'll try looking up Scott Carpenter too. Thank you, Tamara, for that, because we'll see if we can see, because that's a thing I have yet to find a really good Dogman picture. I'm going to look through all these ones because I downloaded all kinds of, I'll see what this mysterious creature filmed around the world is. Oh, these are ones. Yeah, there's one I did film. I wasn't looking for it. I'd love to know if you guys have ever seen this species. I'll see if I can find it in here. It was really weird. It was, and then there was about 3 or 4 of them. It was in the ocean. Sure was green, and the skull looked like a primate. I know, that's what I thought too. I'm trying to find this other creature that was in the ocean that was really strange. Is this it? Oh yeah, this is it. Okay, there's music, so I won't play the music. Hang on. No, don't be going yet. I'm not gonna screen share. I'll just hold it up here so you guys can see it. Okay. Okay, hang on. I'll play it. No, we don't want to delete it. No. Okay, hang on. I'll play it because it's got music. I don't want it to play. Okay, watch this thing. There's 3 of them. What the heck are these things? Have you guys ever... Oh, sorry, there's more than 3. Have you guys ever seen these things before? I didn't want to play it because it's got music. So we have a music license, but YouTube or Facebook doesn't like it. Have you ever seen these things before? I'll play it one more time. I have never seen these things before. So that's what it looks like. Sorry, I got to pull it over. And then I'll play it for you. Get a load of the gills on this thing and how long they are. Sorry, I've never seen anything like that before. A sea urchin? Yeah, but I thought sea urchins are bottom dwellers and they're kind of spiky, no? Aren't they? Here, I got to take your comment off here, Kelly. Sorry. So that we don't, where did it go? Because I posted that link. Now it's got to be on here somewhere. You guys are just making it really, I'm trying to multitask here. Too many things. Okay, where did I do that comment of yours, Kelly? You got to find it. Come on. No, I got to go higher. That's what it is. There we go. Went right to it. There we go. So sea urchins are bottom dwellers, I thought. And they're kind of spiky. I want to say Facebook user before I go further. I think it's Kelly. She said, not Kelly, sorry, Christina. She said, happy birthday to all having birthdays this month. My youngest is 37 tomorrow. And yes, Annette is slow today. Bank was slow. You blamed it on the weather. Well, happy birthday to your youngest. Lots of August birthdays. Mine's August 15th. So, let's see. Sure was green and the skull looked like a primate. Yeah, that was the gnome. I'd never seen somebody claim a gnome to be that, like it looked like it was covered in moss. But I have seen gnome type things. There's one, but why are they always potato quality? Like they've been shot on a potato. But there's one, it's shaking so bad. This one went viral quite a few years ago. And you know the old-fashioned garden gnomes that are in a garden? Somebody is filming this house and it's dark. I swear, and this is before, you can tell, this was shot before Photoshop and AI and all this stuff came out. This gnome sort of stands up. It's not very tall, and it kind of looks around, and then it starts trotting towards the house. It was in the garden and it was nighttime, but it's super shaky. But I have found that there's been some video creators out there that have been able to stabilize the camera a bit. That one was crazy. So like I said, nowadays, there's not a lot that would surprise me with, AI and all this stuff out there. But this one's been out for quite a few years. Same as the one with the fairy, that these little kids, when you watch a full video, I think they've just moved into a new house. It's in the UK, and they're showing their dad all the stuff that's in the backyard. And they almost have like a little forest in behind the back. And I think the kids are showing their dad that there's apple trees. And then the little boy goes, what's that? And the little girl and her father go, what are you talking about? And then the dad says, oh, it must be some kind of insect or something. And as they're filming, I swear to God, it looks like a fairy, like a little humanoid with wings, and it's all brown, and it becomes so clear you can see it. Okay, so ghost shark. Yeah, I thought about that, but ghost sharks are pretty spooky looking. Mind you, we couldn't see this thing's teeth or its mouth. It could be a ghost shark. I don't know, Kelly. I don't think I've heard of a frill shark. We might have to look it up and see. I just found it really strange. Like I'd never seen something. Okay, so Christina, I wonder if it's a shapeshifter that appears to what you believe it. Are you talking about the water animal or the gnome? Because there's so many, like I came across a lot of shapeshifters. Like the reason why I put this video up, I'll see if I can. I don't want to play it because YouTube doesn't like when I play these. Okay, let me see. I'll go through and see what I find. This is just Bigfoot. I'm going to go through here and see what I can find that's halfway decent. There's a couple good Bigfoot videos. There's some paranormal in here. Maybe I'll go through this paranormal thing. There's something that looks like the rake. Hopefully they won't get here. I don't want to close Facebook. I mean, the dog messages me. Everybody and their dog messages me when they know I'm live. And I always tell people Monday's not my good day. Can't chat on Mondays. Okay, let me see if I can go back with this. You're not going to cooperate, are you? Okay, let's see. You can go back. Okay, I'm going to try and go back a little bit. Well, this is, yeah, I don't know what these are. We'll try playing this. I'll try sharing it and you guys can see. I'm going to do screen share. Sorry, it takes me a few minutes to do this. Okay. Okay, I'll share it. I try to blow it up on the screen a little bit for you if I can. I think I can make it full screen. There we go. That's about as big as I can do it. Okay, let me make sure it's on the screen. Before I start playing, we'll add it. Hopefully YouTube doesn't get mad at us. We'll see. I don't think there's any music. Okay. So we'll just start playing some of these. You're going to play for me? Come on.
Picture evidence have brought forth tales of unearthly beings from extraterrestrials to ghosts and even
That looks
creatures
fake to
once
me.
believed to be mere myths. In this particular footage, we encounter yet another intriguing account.
Watch these dogs.
At the start of the footage, two stray dogs capture our attention as they fix their gaze upon.
I was trying to blow it up for you. Sorry.
At the start of the footage, two stray dogs capture our attention as they fix their gaze upon a particular spot, then hastily run off, seemingly spooked by something unseen. And soon enough, the reason behind their sudden departure becomes clear. In the ensuing moments, a peculiar black haze taking the shape of a human figure can be seen moving. What's more, the entity casts a shadow upon one of the nearby houses. This detail raises a perplexing question. If this is indeed a ghostly apparition, it contradicts the notion that ghosts lack shadows. So, what could this possibly be?
I'm coming back, guys. Hang on. Come on. My computer's going to be real slow tonight because I got all this stuff open on here. There. I'll take that out of there. What do you guys think about that? Yeah, I don't know too many ghosts that cast shadows. How about, I'll close Facebook here, so hopefully that won't make it so slow. What do you think about that if you saw that? It is in the video and the link's up above. It is by, let me name the title. Oh, you know where I bought it? Never mind. I've got all these devices here just in case. Let me go back to YouTube and I will find the name, but I did share it and it's everywhere in the chat. It's called The Most Disturbing Trail Cam Footage. The channel is called Classified Captures. So I don't know if y'all seen that or not. That was pretty strange looking, whatever it was, if it was paranormal, because I don't know too many paranormal things that cast shadows as it's going by. And to me, when I feel into it, I keep hearing it's cloaked. So I don't know. I just found it really strange. This video had a lot of strange, unusual stuff. We didn't even get into the ufology stuff about, you know, what was happening with what went on in the US. So I figured the reason why I didn't get into that too much, I haven't talked to Dave yet about Thursday night, but I figured we might dig into some of that. We didn't get into it too much, you know, with Grush and testifying. I think it was before Congress is where it was done. And that actually, I really appreciated it. There was a video that came up in my field and they really put it all together. There wasn't a lot of stuff that was really revealed, which I didn't expect, because every time we hear there's going to be major disclosure, right, it's usually super heavily redacted or not really telling you anything that anybody didn't know if you follow the ufology community, right? So I don't know. I found it pretty darn disappointing. How about I'll put it that? But I figure Dave and I'll probably talk about it on Thursday night on the thing at the foot of the bed. So we only got about another 5 minutes or so. So what I'll do is I'll stop sharing here. So, but if you guys can, check out that video, because I'm going to send that to Dave too. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that on Thursday with the thing at the foot of the bed at 7 o'clock here. I forgot to tell you guys, if you're just tuning in, you are listening to UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. And you are listening to or watching the Angel Rock. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin, and we're so glad you're here. So Kelly says, let's see, from what I was told, and I believe it strongly, that if a dog, cat, animal is spooked or uneasy about a spirit or apparition, then that should be taken as a warning that whatever it is not something good. I would agree wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. I always, when I'm helping people with the paranormal, I have a whole questionnaire that I'll do, but I usually ask them if they have young children or they have animals. And never mind, there's a whole thing, there's a whole interview process, but I would always say trust your animals and trust especially young children, because again, we sort of talked about this at the beginning of the show, about empaths and things like that. And I do believe we are all varying degrees and levels of empaths, and depending on either what we retain from our early childhood, some of us do, or we tend to be open and start to question and try to almost, if you will, relearn. It's kind of like when you learn how to ride a bike as a little kid, and maybe you're not back on one for 50 years, but you sort of get to remember how to ride that bike eventually, right? And I think that that's what happens with our spiritual type nature, if you will. I don't know if that's the right word, energetic nature, okay, about energy and how we perceive it and things like that. But I definitely wholeheartedly agree. So I'm so glad you all tuned in here tonight, because this is the type of show I love to do, right? I never know where we're going. I'm just kind of open with it. And I love to talk about the things that all of you like to talk about, because all of you are so incredibly intelligent. You've got so much knowledge and information to share with people, including myself out here. And I think it makes for a lot more interesting show when it's not just me droning on and on. But I know we're not talking face to face, but we're able to talk in the comments, and you guys are able to be part of the show. So Kelly added, I always trust my cats or bunny senses. They will tell me if someone or something is good or not. I agree. No, I don't have my German Shepherd in here because my tripod fell on her one night. Because when my computer's acting up, I'll use my phone. She wasn't hurt, but she's spooked by it. So we're working on desensitizing her. But what she does is, and you guys might have seen it, she'll just keep climbing on the bed. And then she tries to get on my lap because she thinks she's a lap dog, and she's anything but. And yeah, that's not good. Well, you know what? We are just about out of time here. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight and for supporting the network, for supporting the shows that I do. And I'm hoping you'll all hang in there and come back on Thursday. Like I said, I haven't chit-chatted with Dave. Give me 1 sec. I got to grab another drink. I haven't talked to Dave yet about what we're going to do Thursday night, but I know it'll be fun. It's always fun. It's a great crew over there like there is here. You all come over there, ask questions. Oh, the allergy season. I don't know what it is about here where I am in Northwestern Ontario. I'm in Thunder Bay. It's about 6.5 hours north of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I'm telling you, always around my birthday in August, it must be ragweed or something. My allergies go through the roof. Oh, that was the other thing on that video. Quickly before I let you go, the one that I just shared on YouTube with the trail cam thing, I just about fell off my chair because they start talking about Duluth, Minnesota, and it was captured. I think they thought it might have been either a shapeshifter or a skinwalker. And I went, what? The reason why is I'm right on the shores of Lake Superior. We're almost smack dab in the middle of Canada. But I'm about 45 minutes away from the Minnesota border. And I haven't been to Duluth in a long time. But Duluth, Minnesota is only about 3.5 hours away south from Thunder Bay. I kid you not. on a long weekend or something, like when it was easier to cross the border, I would run into half my city in in Duluth, Minnesota. And I love Duluth. It's very hilly. I definitely would not want to be driving a standard transmission car there in the wintertime. But the cool thing is you just go over the bridge and you're in another state. You're in Superior, Wisconsin. So I just thought it was so cool to hear Duluth, Minnesota. And I'm going to read your comments. Thank you, Z Sun Dragon, sending little hearts. And Tamara said, thank you. Interesting episode. Well, I really appreciate your feedback. And I want to let you know, if you ever want to get a hold of me, I do crystal Reiki sessions. I keep saying this, and I got to do it. I got to make a video, because once you guys see what crystal Reiki is, it is so cool. It's balancing your chakras we have 15 symbols that we use specific to crystal Reiki. And then I intuitively work with energy and crystals to balance them. Then we go through your aura or energy field and find cracks and all kinds of things. We seal those and we ground it all. It's a really cool, interesting type of modality. And I can tell you, having people that are more regular clients, I've seen a real shift in them, and I know they're seeing a shift within themselves too. So I do that. I also do readings. I kind of now, with my reading stuff, rather than separating, I just sort of pull in whatever somebody needs when they book a reading with me, whether it's Akashic Records, sometimes it's medical intuitiveness, anything like that. Whatever needs to come through comes through. Or say you got a guest idea or a show idea. Maybe you want me to talk about something else. Like when we get opportunities like this, I love to talk about these kind of topics, obviously. So feel free to reach out to me, on facebook.com/The Angel Rock. And then I have 2 groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal. And then the Angel Rocker Tribe is a good place. There's a great group of people from all over the world in both of these groups. And I was just saying to somebody out there, I think we're going to revamp, especially with the Angel Rocker Tribe, maybe trying to go live and do a little bit more teaching, or, with approved readers and stuff, maybe starting to offer some free readings, or so people feel it's a safe space if they want to practice readings or practice, connecting with spirit and doing that. So that may be something we'll be doing. So you can check all that out. I think that's everything I wanted to tell you. Yeah, don't forget, though, that's what it is. If you guys are into the paranormal, please stay tuned for Philip and Julia Syracusa. They've got the Horsefly Chronicles coming up right after this. They've got great guests, great show. Also, I will be back on Thursday with my amazing co-host. I was going to say amazing friend. He is an amazing friend. I just love him. David Hansel. We're going to be back with the thing at the foot of the bed at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're so sweet. Kelly said, Lorilei is an amazing teacher and guide. Can never express enough about just how wonderful she truly is. Well, you are so, so, so sweet. Thank you so much. And I was going to duck out of here, but I got to use my phone. I think, don't forget too, guys, this is the last night, as far as I understand, to vote for the Outer Realm, News on the Flip Side, as well as UFO Undercover, and then I think it's Writers of the Future for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. You're going to see the interviews coming up in just a second as I get them loaded up here, as I'm yapping away. Where am I going? I've got a million things going through my head right now as I'm doing this. So hopefully it doesn't squelch on you guys. Give me a sec. You may hear it, but it's easier to do it from my phone because my computer likes to lag. So you're going to hear a little blip, and that's me coming in there. Make sure it's turned down. Just a sec. Yeah, turn down. Okay, hang on. Okay, that was me. All right, guys. Give me one sec here. Make sure I got this all loaded up, and I got glasses so I can see. And I want to thank you all. So stay tuned, and we will see you on Thursday. And like I said, she's a guest favorite. Before I forget to tell you again, Carmen Schott Turner is back next Monday, and you guys love her every time she comes on. Okay, so give me one sec here. I gotta find my videos. Videos, where are you? We got too many things here. Okay. I think we found it. Okay, good. All right, everybody. See you on Thursday, okay? Much love and light to all of you.
All right, everybody. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcast. Yes, it is that time of year again. there's a show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards, UFO Undercover, in the category of entertainment. UFO Undercover brings you some of the most revealing and current research that is being done with respect to alien abductions and contact. Host Joe Montaldo has been an abduction researcher for over 35 years and is uniquely qualified to bring you live interviews with some of the most well-known researchers in ufology. Go to podcastawards.com to nominate UFO Undercover in the category of entertainment. That's podcastawards.com, and please take a moment and get out and vote now. It's time for you to get out and nominate your favorite podcasts. There's an amazing show I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards, Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast, in 3 categories: education, storyteller drama, and art. For 4 years, the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast has provided advice and tips from international best-selling authors, world-class artists, contest judges and winners, and industry professionals based on the world-famous Writers of the Future contest created in 1983 by L. Ron Hubbard to help the aspiring writer and artist no matter their age. It is dedicated to the future of storytelling and art by showing that it is never too late to start, and those who make it are those who never give up. Go to podcastawards.com to nominate the Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in any or all of the 3 categories: education, storyteller drama, and art. That's podcastawards.com, and please take a moment and go out and vote now.
Hey there.
Looking for something new in sci-fi or fantasy? Check out what Brandon Sanderson, Orson Scott Card, Nnedi Okorafor, and others chose as the best news stories of the year in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future Anthology. From 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.
You are listening to UPRN, United Public Radio Network, coming to you live on 105.3 right up to 107.7 FM from the beautiful city of New Orleans.